Welcome to Empirical Pea Pod. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. If you could, please subscribe, follow, share, like, comment, whatever the hell happens when we do these things. I'm your host, Tim Day. Let's get to the show. Whew. All right. Me and Miss Katie Tiffin.
Hi.
Hello. I'm going to let the cat out of the bag. This is the third time that you and I have sat down to record this goddamn thing.
That's right.
The good news is today we're at Silver Springs.
It is so pretty what we're looking at.
It is beautiful out here.
Loon Lake.
I like hearing the birds.
Yeah, and the haze, it's been a little bit smoky in the atmosphere past couple days, but this haze is kind of cool. It really makes the green pop.
That's true. It does actually kind of look awesome here.
And it's not as coughy, like cough.
Yeah.
City.
Right. It's not as like.
Uh-huh.
Also, interesting fact: my dad's ashes are in this lake.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
When after we got his ashes, we went to that dock, me and my brother and sister, and it was December.
Oh, okay.
So, but like
they landed on the ice.
Only
and just
part of
kinda
it.
sat
There was
there?
like literally one big piece of ice, and of course my brother puts a fucking scoop and just right on the ice. You just see like a little cloud of dust.
I feel like every ash story probably it never goes as planned.
No, because you have this idea of something beautiful and poetic,
right?
And then you do it, and you're like, oh, it was stupid and dumb. How like life.
Which is how they wanted it anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
They would have got a kick out of it.
It was all posturing, anyways. It didn't matter. But yes, so we're here. Let's talk about you. That's what we're here for, not my bullshit.
One of my least favorite things to do.
Talk about yourself.
Talk about myself.
Yeah. Somebody the other day was like, I'm going to flip the script on you, and when you have me on, I'm going to ask about you. And I'm like, I'm not going to have you on then. Because
that's not going to work.
I do my own shows alone. Yeah. I don't need you.
Yeah.
But anyways, so what I do want to talk about for the third time.
Yeah. You've heard this.
Oh my
and
God.
we've also talked about this at work,
a bunch.
all of these things.
We've talked ad nauseum about our lives in general.
But
so,
I learned something. I didn't know that. We learned something with every conversation.
Good.
So.
In fact, you know what? Stop the show now. You've gotten your little fact that's new, and just move on.
Yeah. Digest it.
But anyways, let's talk about you, because we all come from the same place, which is our little town of Oswego, and our little group. At some point,
which I love.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's insane that we're all still so close.
Yeah.
After like so many years, because you hear all these stories of like adults that are, or like you want to look at my parents. I'm like, they don't have friends.
Right.
And it's weird.
I know. People just really separate. They go their own ways. It's really easy.
Right.
After you have families and stuff, but I feel like everybo's done a really good job of keeping it together, even after having kids, and
It's easy to it's easy to even get emotional about it because you have to commit to that. Like
it takes effort.
Right. Like I don't have to talk to you for years and we'll pick up right where we left off.
Yeah.
But as far as like keeping a group together, like it requires effort and everybody to kind of at least meet somewhere,
right?
Emotionally and physically as often as possible. But after college, no, because you went to Illinois State.
That's right.
And then you came home after college.
Yep.
And then you ended up in the city.
And then I moved to Chicago.
What brought you to Chicago?
I knew that, it was just exciting, it was a different atmosphere, it was the city. And after college, I graduated with a theater degree, so all of those people that I went to school with, you go to the big city.
I didn't even know your degree was in theater.
Yeah.
I'm embarrassed.
See? We're learning.
So I'm wrong the whole time. You know what? This is an important episode.
Yeah.
Fuck me about 3 times. I still haven't done my job correctly.
Well, I never said either.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so all those, it's the question that directed me towards that, because all of those people that I graduated with moved to the city, to try to make it in theater or comedy, whatever their little thing is. And so I was kind of leaning towards that for a while, but it was scary, and I didn't want to do it by myself. It was not even a thought in my brain. And then Shike, at some point, I think we had a discussion, and I think he wanted to do the same thing. I don't remember how it went down.
Yeah.
But we moved to Boys Town.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
Together.
I remember that because, God, we had some of the best times ever in Pottstown.
Oh, my God.
It was so fun.
A haze.
Do you remember the New Year's party where we all got dressed up? Like,
yes.
Everybody got dressed up to the nines.
Yes.
And we went out and had an amazing time.
Only because of the photos. Otherwise, I don't know if I would remember.
Well, it's funny because you probably heard the story, but after, because you lived there, that was your place. The rest of us had to go and catch the train. But the trains stop
at midnight.
And I think they might run a little later on New Year's.
Okay.
Either way, we didn't get there anywhere near in time.
Yeah.
So there's like 6 to 8 of us dressed to the nines, sleeping on the floor in the train station.
In the train station.
Because the next train's not till 6 a.m.
Ooh. At least the Union is a beautiful station.
Sure, until you're sleeping on the floor.
Yeah. Well, you got you can go in the Grand Hall and look at the ceiling.
That's true. But we laid down literally like, where do you get on the train?
Yeah, you didn't want to miss
idiots, because we're stupid.
You want to hear that whistle in the morning?
That's right. It was the grossest thing I've ever been part of. But how long did you stay in Chicago?
4 years. So 2 years with the boys and 2 years in my studio, which was awesome. I loved it.
You ended up on your own for a while.
Yeah, in a really sweet neighborhood down the street from where I was working. And yeah, just close to everything that I needed. And then I moved home because I knew I wanted to move to California.
The next adventure.
So I needed to save money. Everything that I decide to do requires money. And if I'm paying rent somewhere, then it's like I'm not really saving.
I think you just deciphered something that is universal. All of us want to do something that costs money.
Yeah, that's everybody. But that requires me to, move home, not pay rent for a year, and then I can go.
Which is amazing to even have that opportunity.
Yeah, it's really
it's
nice.
important to even recognize that.
I'm lucky. A lot of people don't have that. You know?
Where in California did you head out to then?
So I landed in San Diego.
Yeah.
Because Jay, all of us, so every spring, the group of us, we'd all go to OB and stay there, and Randy, Jay, and myself.
I believe it's OBGYN.
No.
Oh.
Yeah, well, it is the whale's vagina. Yeah. So we're all like, man, we did all at different times. Did eventually land out there. Randy, Jay, I don't know who went first.
Yeah.
But that was just our, the go-to. Like, I'm gonna try. Now it's my turn.
Right.
So I was there for 2 years.
And as you were just saying before we got on, you love San Diego.
Oh my God, I was just saying, it's like, what a shit show. Just, it was great. You know what, I'm gonna leave it as, it was a very necessary life experience, a learning experience that, and with the 2 years that I was there, and I walked away with, something from it.
Right.
I found out some stuff about myself. I wanted to give up about a year in and move back, but I got over that hump and just moved on to Los Angeles.
Now, so
which I never saw myself living there.
I like the idea that you think San Diego's a shit show. Oh. So I should go to LA.
Yeah, San Diego's a different kind of shit show.
Right.
Los Angeles, once I got there, I got comfortable. I got my job. I moved in with my cousin Shay and her husband, and my Aunt Donna lived across the street, so I had a family base.
That's awesome. Did you have an initial pull to LA, or just kind of because the family was there? It's like
no, it was more of a push.
Oh.
To LA.
Okay.
From my dad, he came to visit. He's like, this isn't that.
Yeah.
I really didn't have a lot going on for myself. I didn't have any drive or a plan, future plans or anything. It was just kind of existing. So he kind of pushed me in that direction. Because Bob and Shay, they're very professional. They're driven, successful people.
And did you manage to, because you stayed in LA for a while.
6 years.
Yeah, that's a long time. What did you build there?
So I stayed with them until I found a job. I got on Sitter City because I had been in childcare for quite some time at that point. Mm-hmm. So I found Liz and Logan on Sitter City. We hit it off. It was just one of those meetings where we're like, we don't need to look any further.
Right.
And then shortly after that, I got my apartment. So I had the same job, the same apartment for the 6 years that I was there.
That's awesome.
I did eventually step away. Logan started going to school.
Yeah.
So my hours went down and.
Right.
But
As children grow, I gotta think they probably need somebody less.
Yeah.
In general.
Yep.
Now,
but originally makeup.
Yeah, I would say while you're out there, you dabbled in makeup.
Yeah. So I started off at Burbank Adult School of Beauty Makeup because I'm into character makeup, not so much special effects.
Because I'm always curious, because we have talked about this before, what I never, even though you've explained it to me a dozen times, and I'm not doing this for the show,
types are?
I'm like, what the fuck? Character makeup versus special effects.
Special effects is monster masks, prosthetics, molding.
And you're not into
you're
that?
casting people's faces and making masks. No, not so much.
Okay, you're more into...
I like, character makeup is creating, it could be injuries, bald caps, facial hair, cuts, bruises, things like that.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Like Halloween, if you wanted to create a costume.
Yeah, like a gash in your face or something.
Yeah.
Or slit throat.
Or like a character from a movie that you need to recreate that, Yeah.
Like The Crow.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, we could do that.
So after, what was then, because you stayed out there for quite a while.
Yeah.
And it seemed comfortable and enjoyable.
But that's expensive, makeup and learning how to do it.
Sure.
So I had to work, obviously, and do that in between working and figure that out.
Right.
And eventually the idea was to network my way and just do that full time. But I have been on a couple movie sets and been around it enough to know that just wasn't what I wanted to do.
And what was it
in film?
Like, was it just the
atmosphere is too tense.
Community?
It's very fast-paced, tense. I mean,
you have to care about it.
Yeah.
I would compare, is it similar to, when I think about being a server, I'm like, you have to take it really seriously and, have a little promptness.
I can do that part. I can handle.
But I mean, it's the same idea where I'm like, that sounds terrible.
No, it's the people. Everybody's on edge because there's a budget and there's a time limit, and people can just be kind of mean.
Yeah.
And I like to be surrounded by friendly people.
Right.
That's just me. I can't hack it. I would go and cry in the corner probably if somebody were mean to me.
That's interesting.
I mean, actually, no. I've gotten to a point where I'm like, fuck you.
You're such a hard ass. Maybe it's just to your friends. You're just mean to your friends. It's easier to be mean to your friends. Oh, you mean to everybody.
I can be. I have a switch.
So let's call it boundaries. You have healthy boundaries.
Yes.
And you're not going to get fucked with, which is good.
Yep.
But so after your foray into LA, I like that, foray into LA. Was there, because you came back home, was there an initial pull or triggering event?
Other than financially, it was time. I think everything kind of rolled into one moment that kind of made the decision for me. I did start working at a makeup supply store because I wanted to surround myself with like-minded people, like famous makeup artists and stuff coming in. So that was cool, but with taxes taken out, that was the first time that while living in LA, that I had gotten a paycheck. I mean, because I wasn't under the table. What was that? Independent contractor?
Yeah.
So we weren't taking taxes out. I had to pay taxes at the end of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So with the taxes taken out right away, I couldn't keep up with rent and everything. Yeah.
It's a lot.
So it was a wake-up call. And then my car got stolen.
Your car got stolen?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And then, and it was a new car. It was a brand new car that I had bought a year before. Insurance covered it. I mean, I got the settlement.
Wow.
Which propelled me into, because if that hadn't happened, I don't think I could have afforded to move home.
Right.
Because I had to pay off that last month's rent. I wanted to get all my bills taken care of.
Well, you said
I had to pay for a moving van.
Was your car paid off at least? Or
no.
Did it all get taken care of?
It just got taken care of.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yep.
You had to get a moving van and everything too, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Moving van.
Cross country?
Yeah. With a couple days. I did it with my dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. He drove the whole way, and I kept offering to drive, and he's like, no. And then when we got home, we pulled into my driveway, and I got in the driver's side just to check it out, just to see what it was like. I couldn't see over the steering wheel. I wouldn't have been able to. It was so big.
That's
oh, God.
Big. That's funny. So you've been back now for...
A year now,
yeah. What's going on here? What have you been up to here?
Well, as you know,
Yeah.
The summer, so I moved back just before last summer.
Yeah.
And I did some childcare here and there, just to make ends meet and keep the ball rolling.
Yeah.
But because of you and Annie, I got the job at the junior high.
Yeah.
So I got that paraprofessional.
I remember you were so reluctant at first.
Yeah, because I had only been one-on-one
with
children.
It's very
before.
Different.
Like, ooh, a school, junior high kids?
Right.
That sounds terrifying.
You also were always with younger kids also.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you enjoy it?
I do.
It's fun, right?
Yeah, they're jokes. Like, they're at an age now to where, they can swear, not that they do, but it's just, you can shoot the shit with them.
That's how they decide who the cool adults are.
Yeah.
Like, are they going to get me in trouble?
Right.
Aside from all of that, I want to take an aside to some of the things that you've done while all of this is going on. Mm-hmm. So I know we've talked before we came on here and that this is already dead, but tell me about the Starfire Says collection.
Well, that started because I would make birthday cards for people, my family members and friends, and I think somebody, I don't know who, they said, you should do this, you should sell these, you should make these and sell them. And I did. I made a whole bunch of them. It kind of re-sparked, I've always liked drawing, and it kind of sparked that interest again because I wasn't doing it regularly.
So this is kind of the starting point to what leads to what we're going to get into in a minute. Oh, okay.
Because Starfire Says was, I made a whole bunch of them. I sat down, cranked a bunch out. Not in a day, it took some time. But then when Liz, she owns a yoga studio, Stretch, it's on Magnolia in Burbank.
Nice.
Check it out.
Check it out.
She'd have, events at the studio. So I would bring them over and set them up and people would buy them, like $5 for a card. Mm-hmm. Stuff like that. And eventually I was going to expand and do a consignment thing, but honestly I wasn't passionate enough about it to keep it going. Yeah. It was more annoying. I was like, to do another one. I'm like, So that kind of fell out of my brain and then started Killer Pencil. I think, first
that was around even since you were teenagers.
Yeah, and I hadn't started the strip. So going backwards, Starfire Says to Don't Sweat the Tall Stuff. I decided, so there's a book that I wrote.
A children's book?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it rhymes and it has stanzas and everything. So that whole writing process, I started submitting that to publishers in 2013.
Okay.
Did I say Don't Sweat the Tall Stuff?
Don't Sweat the Tall Stuff.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Yeah.
And then...
It's available on Amazon.
It is, yeah. I self-published it last August. So it's been up there. There's Kindle and or paperback. I'm still working on hardcover, but the dimensions, it's landscape orientation, and I don't think they have the measurements to meet what I need for hardcover yet.
Can you tell us about the book?
Yeah, it's about a giraffe whose neck is longer than the other giraffe, so he gets made fun of, and then he meets, a herd of elephants comes through, and he meets an elephant who's kind of got a similar thing going on, but she's more confident.
Right.
And likes, more sure of herself, so he kind of learns from her, and they become friends, and it's just cute.
It sounds awesome. Actually,
You haven't read it?
I've read it and seen it.
Okay.
I'm trying to be the cool podcast guy. Oh, it sounds really cool.
Ooh.
Well, you should all check it out. Where did you come up with the inspiration to even attempt to write a children's book?
I honestly don't know. I used to like writing also when I was little.
Yeah.
And even in high school, I wasn't good at math or science, but I could read, obviously, and write pretty well. I did creative writing and just really enjoyed it.
Yeah. So just a matter of, starting somewhere.
Yeah, and I liked to write poems. I liked creating things that rhymed a lot, kind of obsessed over it. And then that's just where it stemmed from, and trying to come up with it, and it's very, versed, so when you say it out loud it has to go smoothly, and that was really hard at first because I would say it out loud and then it would kind of trip up on my tongue a little bit, so I just wrote it and rewrote it so many times, used different words, looking up synonyms and synonyms.
I'm always fascinated as a creator in general, like For me, I don't go back and like really, unless something really needs to be edited, like if a lawnmower is coming by in the middle of your recording, like right now, which I'm gonna for sure leave in, but I don't like going back and listening to stuff because I don't think I would ever be content with it being done.
Right.
How do you deal with something like that, especially like writing a book? You've got a comic strip. You know, you've done a lot of creative things that we'll talk about in a second.
I'm terrified reading Don't Split the Tall Stuff because I'm afraid I'm going to find a mistake or a comma that's in the wrong place, even though I looked at it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
But that also can bite you in the ass because your eyes aren't seeing something
that
should be jumping out at you.
That's true. And also, like, it's again, for me, it's hard to be like, this is, not even mistake-wise, just this is done.
Right.
Because I'm always like, I should change this.
That never happens.
Right. So that's why I try to just avoid looking back at things.
Yeah. But I am a big fan of stepping away from it for a long time and coming back to it with fresh eyes.
I think that's good too. Definitely get some perspective after some time away.
For sure.
You have a whole different idea of what it looks like. Now, we've kind of alluded to it and talked about it a little bit here. Another thing you have is, it's new to being on YouTube.
Right.
You have a comic strip called Killer Pencil.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, Killer Pencil.
He's my favorite.
He's amazing. Tell us about that, because that dates back to your teenage years.
Heather and I created Killer Pencil when we were in junior high, maybe 11 or 12, writing notes back and forth to each other, but the notes were cartoons as to how he was going to kill you that day.
Right.
I would, he'd kill Heather and I'd hand it off to her, and then the next day she'd come up with one where he killed me. There's like cheerleading scenarios, any number of different life scenarios.
He gets into some shenanigans.
Yeah. Some gory shenanigans. It's horrific, but it's also comedic.
Right. So you're talking, realistically, almost 30 years later, it shows up on YouTube. What was the driving force of kind of being like, all right, let's take this. This is a good enough idea.
Yeah.
To finally recognize that and be like, let's push forward with this, because I think it could be something.
This is why meeting people or just having a simple conversation can never, it could turn into something. My friend Inga mentioned she likes cartoon strips. So she would send me on Instagram, little things that she liked, or like New York Times cartoon strips, things like that. And then that just gave me the idea. I was like, you know what? A Killer Pencil could be a cartoon strip. We could turn him into, like, I could do different panels in order. Yeah. And then just go from there. So I kind of looked at what other accounts were doing and how they were, posting them. If you could slide over, you know how you can post multiple photos now? Yeah. So you could slide over, but you had the brilliant idea to add sound to them. So that's to turn them into like a little short, like 30-second thing where the panels still slide over, but now they have sound put behind them.
The sounds are so funny.
And that's where that whole thing started. And that just opened my eyes to a whole new world.
Yeah.
Yes.
So definitely. So
that's what's on YouTube.
Search Killer Pencil on YouTube. They're all like 30 seconds long. They're hilarious. Just watching Heather and Katie get murdered in various ways.
And Jason Yunker came up with the intro, and he's the one saying "Killer Pencil Man" in his goofy voice.
That's great. On here also, I see. I've never talked about it or heard about it. The Sunny Project.
Yeah, that's a thing that's in the works right now. I'm kind of co-creating that with my cousin and her husband. Sunny is their dog, and they had a really brilliant idea for a children's book, another one. So that's kind of my thing right now. I'm just going to keep creating children's books, because why not? If I like doing it, and if I have the time outside of work, I'm never really bored, which is great because I like doing it.
There's always something to work on.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking about it with the podcast, because I'm like, I'd like to have a YouTube channel of a video of the podcast, but I don't want to record video just because it's too easy.
Right.
But it'd be fun to have like an animated version of the podcast.
I've seen those.
Of just like bad, like 2000 era Adult Swim bad drawings.
Yes. I've seen them.
Of what's happening. That'd be fun.
That would be fun.
I think it's too big of a project, and like if it's generating money, sure.
Right.
It's kind of a big project.
Well, that's one of those things like you just kind of dabble in.
Yeah. I've been futzing with AI
to
see if I could just have AI generate one.
Okay.
For now.
Yeah.
But I'm slow.
My Killer Pencil account on Instagram, I love the feed on that account so much more than my my normal personal feed.
Yeah.
Because it's just, I just follow other artists.
Right.
And there's a lot of animation going on, and my program that I use on my iPad has the option, so I'm like, I need to kind of maybe catch up a little bit and start playing around with it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's a constant evolution for sure.
Yeah, it can be overwhelming, but you just have to start somewhere. It evolves into its own thing.
It's exciting, all the things you have going on, actually. It's pretty amazing. What I want to talk about today is relationships.
Woof.
Yeah, not necessarily like
romantic relationships.
Maybe not necessarily, but like we talked about our group of friends,
mm-hmm.
And it's hard to, at least from the outside looking in, and like we talked about, like your parents, like they didn't really have friends, mm-hmm. not your parents, but like in general, right. Parents, and maybe some people do, and maybe that's the difference. Like just mine, I never noticed it, mm-hmm. and that's the reason our friendship group works well, because other members, that's what they grew up with. And I'm just like, hey, somebody will talk to me. And I get excited. But as we now cross the threshold of 40, maintaining those relationships and kind of making time for them. Like I know even with this show, the whole goal is to kind of plug it in where you can, because it's so easy to not make plans or to hang out and just, the friendship will be fine.
Yeah.
Like I talked with Annie the other day, and it was like, that had to be scheduled, and it had to really be plugged in and stay on time, uh-huh. and only within a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
Because she's got, 2
Children.
Kids and a husband, 2 businesses. Like she's
very
busy and stuff like that. But what I found fascinating after that is when I was going through and like editing and putting the stuff up, and I was like, it's so funny that if I call somebody and I'm like, hey, can we just get together and have a conversation for an hour? And they're like, I'm pretty busy. But I'm like, hey, you want to be on the podcast? Which is the exact same thing. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, yeah, let's get it scheduled and do it.
You went back on your schedule.
Well, I tripped over it. So
you wanted to say it.
I was like, abandoned. Thanks for pointing that out.
Go on.
That's kind of it, though. Like, how do we maintain those relationships?
Yeah.
Like, what does your piece look like?
Having moved back and missing everybody for so much and missing out on some things, I really missed having people to hang out, I
got to think
group.
That being out there, that realistically you probably only stayed in contact with like 3 or 4 people.
From here, yeah.
Yeah,
because I'm not on Facebook or anything.
Right, yeah. You don't
try.
So
it's like one of those things where, no, I mean, if you want to know how I'm doing, you're going to have to get on the phone.
Right, which is, I have Facebook, and I don't use it for anything other than to, get mad at my other friends, mm-hmm. and remind myself of how much I can't stand most of them. Yeah. But it's true. I'm the same way. Like I'm even more of a baby. Like even in like a group text, like I don't respond unless somebody's talking to me.
Right.
Because I'm
baby. Well, it's easy to say, well, you didn't call me either.
Yeah, that's true.
You're going to have to be, sometimes you're just going to have to pull up your bootstraps and be the one to do it.
Yeah. Plus, I'm annoying when I try to, you'll notice that every time I text anybody, I just text them, yo.
Yeah, you do. And yesterday I said, go on, ... Like, just jump right in.
Well, I think I do that because I presume everybody's busy. Uh-huh. And this is just my way of being like, hey, when you have a second, like, I need your attention.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Because I'm hoping it's less invasive than just typing like a question right away.
No, just say it. Just say it, and then if they're busy, then they'll get back to it.
I'm not really looking for notes, but
okay. All right.
But I appreciate it. But yeah, back to your point of kind of like your piece of maintaining those.
I think
being away.
They need to be watered. They need to have effort and attention paid to them.
Sure.
If you want to go on a deeper level with someone. I mean, there's a lot of surface friendships, and they can stay right where they are, and that's fine.
Right.
There's certain people, if you really want to get to know or have a deeper connection with, then gonna have to put in some effort.
Yeah. Well, I would use yourself as an example of that for me, because we always had a surface friendship where
I would see you
that's
at
it.
parties,
We would see each other
gatherings.
and just cordially be like, "What's up?" and not have any conversations. But there was a point for me when I was talking to Jason, and I was like, I wish I was closer with Katie and Mona, because I don't know them at all, and they seem so cool. And literally, it just happened. Then within a couple of weeks, we were at Mona's house.
Yeah.
After everybody had gone home, and we just kind of just started talking, and now we work together. Now we're like two peas in a pod.
Yeah. Well, and you actually it started out with D&D because
no, that's true too.
You know, I had
because you're
told
a D&D nerd now.
Yeah, full on.
It's so much fun though.
It really is, and some of them, you know, we don't have to talk about them. Like some of them drag, but I'm sure everybody who plays understands that.
Yeah.
But I told, you know, right before I moved back, I visited for lawnmower.
Love this guy. He's not even cutting grass.
No, he's just on
driving
the pavement.
By. Oh yeah.
He just doesn't want to walk.
Oh yeah. Oh, he's got a bucket now. He probably just came to pick up that bucket.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not walking 50 yards with a bucket. I'll take the lawnmower.
I was visiting for Easter, and this is the last time I saw Dan T. We were at the bowling alley, and a whole group of us, and we were talking about D&D, and I told him that I was gonna, you know, I'm gonna move back next month, and we'll get a campaign going. I'm gonna play.
Yeah.
And then tragically, he passed away, and I just wanted to keep my word.
Yeah.
So, and I'm glad I did, because now I didn't know your sister.
Yeah.
Really, same with Sarah and Mike, you know.
Yeah.
It's just now we're all kind of, and younger too. Like I just like getting closer with everybody. It's
I think
meaningful.
to me that's the key. Like the whole secret of life is connection.
Yeah.
And it's the best part of it.
What are we gonna do without it? Go insane.
I wish so much you could have, even to have one session with T. I wish you could have experienced that.
Yeah.
Just because it's so ridiculous. So much fun. He'd have his little wizard hat.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, me, him, and Walsh and Younger.
Drawing dicks on the screen. I've heard with the mouse.
Yeah. Well, because he would just sit there and be like, dude, draw a dick on the screen. It's gonna be so funny. And then he'd be like, oh, look at that dick. That guy was the best.
Yeah.
Also, sidebar. Because our amazing friend Dan did commit suicide, and I'd like to take an opportunity as often as possible to talk about 988. If you're feeling any kind of way, you need somebody to talk to, fucking please reach out. Like that, it hurts so much and it sucks so bad to lose somebody like that, and we've lost a lot of people like that. So just remember, there's options out there.
Too many people.
I don't want to bring the show down. Especially around somebody like T, who is such a fucking beacon of lightness.
Nobody knew because he didn't say anything. And I think it's important to get those things out there.
I wish there was a way we could let people know beforehand, like, dude, this is a safe place. Just say something. Maybe it was just like, hey, man, I'm having a time. Like, all right, cool, man.
Right.
What do we need to do?
That's what I was going to say, going back to when we started talking about Dungeons and Dragons, that there was one day that I was there, we were in the basement, everyone took a break, and I think you and I just sat downstairs. And I mentioned something like, I'm just kind of, not depressed, but I just wasn't feeling great. Yeah, and you're like, do you want to talk about it? We could have lunch.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and that's how that started, and that's how the conversation about...
That's true, because usually, it's almost like a joke when I'm like, you want to talk about it, champ? And you're like, yeah. I'm like, well, fuck, let's go to lunch.
Right.
And then we did.
And we had cheese curds.
Yeah. Oh, those cheese curds are so good, too.
Yeah. So, worth it.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, that was kind of where we kind of branched off then and became for real friends. Which has been great.
It's been special.
No, I love you to death, 100%. But we do have, it seems like we have more of a brother-sister relationship that are too close in age, because we do bump heads a lot.
Yeah, we do.
And not in a mean way.
Sometimes he'll say something and the delivery is just abrasive, and I'm like, what the fuck? You know.
Or she'll say something that's abrasive. I don't think she wants to admit that yet.
That too.
But it always comes from a genuine place. It's just a matter of we spit things out.
Yeah, it's never like, I'm never going to talk to you again, you asshole.
Yeah, but we'll bump heads, and then it's like, all right, well, let's wade through what we just said and figure out.
Yeah, where did we go wrong? Was it me?
Who did it this time? Aside from our friendships, then, yeah, let's dabble very minimally into romantic relationships.
Yeah.
Because I don't like talking about them because we already know. We already know all the ins and outs and the bullshit around it and whatever. Nobody has the answers, and it's unique for everybody.
And so that's not even happening. Like, I'm not even dating right now. It's just so far from my reach, it feels.
Which I feel like, stereotypically, that's usually when they say, like, when you're not paying attention is when things show up.
Yeah, you can't look for it. I'm definitely not out there looking, like, sniffing them out. It has to happen organically.
There goes Katie, sniffing them out.
Like a hound.
Yeah. What I am curious is it something that while you're not focused on it, interested in, still, of like being a couple? Because I feel like we're evolving as people constantly. Yeah. And clearly, because we're single, we can look back and be like, not every relationship was bad per se, but they clearly didn't work out.
Yeah. It was a learning experience.
Right,
I never regret any of the ones that I've had.
And I'm lucky enough to still be friends with most of my exes as well. But it's as we've grown as people, do you feel better prepared? Even though you're not looking for it, you're like, I'm in the best place I've been so far.
Yeah.
And is it something that you think will happen or hopeful, or do you give a shit?
I do. I give a shit. I am hopeful at this point. It's just sometimes it does seem hopeless. Yeah. And we talked about those feelings of loneliness and wishing and wanting, but that's a fleeting thing. And then, we hang out with our friends and those needs are met,
Yeah. And which is interesting there also just because you can kind of see stereotypically, again, like, it'd be easy to just go and fill that void with some random person and stuff like that.
The first person that shows you attention.
Exactly. Right. But it's not...
No, that sounds awful. That sucks.
It does sound awful. Well, it's also because when you think loneliness or even like physically deprived, it's easy to be like, oh, well, you can just fill that void. You can have sex with anybody. Like, you're as long as everybody agrees, you're allowed. But it's different, though.
Because it doesn't lead to that meaning. You want to get to know somebody on a deeper level. Right. It makes for better sex anyway.
It's not filling what's missing.
Right. Yeah.
It's just it's like a drug. It's just a temporary fix.
It is. Yeah.
Instead of the actual
like
problem.
The actual meaning behind your relationship is just one thing.
Right. And would you agree then that the goal is to kind of feel like I'd much rather get to know somebody than just like hang out.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I wasn't always that way. Yeah. I didn't even know what that meant, honestly. My 20s I was so self-involved and clueless. Didn't know what boundaries were.
Yeah, I think we're all supposed to be that
way. That's what those are for. But some people get married during that time in their lives when they don't.
A lot of people do, and then they get divorced during their 30s. Right. or they figure it out. You can absolutely evolve. You can pivot at any point and kind of evolve together. There's no rules, but it's interesting to think that because I love working with the middle school kids. Mm-hmm. I've said it a bunch because that's where they're just starting to realize that adults are full of shit. Yeah. And then after high school, like during the 20s, is when you realize, all right, everything I've been brought up with is a problem. Yeah. You can start realizing and seeing where the trauma is, and you kind of have a choice. So you can take responsibility for who you are at this point and go in that direction. Mm-hmm. You can play the victim and go in that direction. Like, it's up to you. And there's no right or wrong answer per se. It's whatever you feel you want to do. But then I think when you start getting to your 30s, hopefully the arrogance part starts going out. And maybe the depression starts coming in more because you realize that you're broken now. Mm-hmm. Instead of fighting it like you might have in your 20s, you realize the issues and you have them. And then you spend your 30s kind of trying to get over them. Right. And then it feels like I just became 40, but by the time you hit 40, it's like, okay, now I feel confident in who I am for the first time. Yeah. And it still ebbs and flows, ups and downs for sure.
That's just the way it's going to be.
Exactly. Yeah. But like now I feel like, okay, now I'm confident I can talk to anybody about anything, mm-hmm. and I know who I am, and I know what I'm looking, not necessarily what I'm looking for, but I know what I don't want to be part of.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I know. I like getting older for all those reasons. Yeah, the 20s, just getting through with, I was working in a bar and just going out and getting drunk and not really absorbing anything that I was feeling.
Yeah.
Or, the best thing that I could have done is move away, because I was a little too close to the elephant,
sure,
so to speak. And even with growing up and being that close to your family and your parents and stuff, it's like, I just need to get the fuck away. Yeah. And now
I think it's easy to become content or accepting even when it's awful,
right?
And just be like, well, this is my life now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so just reflecting on things that I'm in a place now where I don't blame my parents for anything, or they're amazing. Like, honestly,
they do. Everybody does the best they can with what they have.
And now we're adults, and we have to take responsibility for how
100%
we look at things or how we feel. It's like you can't just keep pointing the finger and blaming people. You're never going to get anywhere.
I think that's a big point for me also, is to be like, despite what I've been through, I'm not a fucking victim.
Right.
Like, I'm a person. I'm an adult. Yeah. And I've accepted what's happened to me, but it does not define who I am.
Right.
We should all be so lucky.
Yeah. So that's a pretty big, I think everybody should have to reflect on. A lot of people don't.
Yeah, we're definitely a minority. But realistically, they don't have to. Yeah. And to be honest, I'm jealous.
Right.
Sometimes I just get jealous of people that don't.
They're just content.
Like
They're
life is just life.
Right.
They can do what they want. They don't second guess themselves. They don't think deeply about anything.
Right.
Everything is just great. They're just enjoying what's happening.
There is something to be said about that also, because there's never like an end game. It's like, if I get here, then I'll be happy.
Right.
That's false. That's just not how it works.
You kind of spend your 20s and 30s telling yourself, I just need
this.
You
do. I did.
Yeah, and then you get it, or you stop getting it, and you're just like, oh, that wasn't it.
Right. You're just, if you're always chasing something, then you're just never gonna.
I think you probably
enjoy what you got while you got it.
Come to the point where you realize that it's got to come from within. Mm-hmm. If you're not content with who you are and where you are, you're never gonna be satisfied. Yeah. Because life is a constant evolution. Mm-hmm. Like, it's crazy to me to think that, like, there's a Lao Tzu quote that's like, if you're living in the past, you're depressed. If you're living in the future, you're
anxiety.
Anxious. Yeah. Because all that exists is the present. Like, it's only now, and if you're not there, you're out of balance.
That's not to say you can't do little things here and there every day to get to. It's important to have a goal.
Well, sure. Yeah. Yeah, but you're not focused. It's the same idea of the idea of the Buddhist non-attachment. It's not like being mean or cruel and not having those attachments. It's not being sticky. Like, you don't let them control you or stick to you where they're changing your life. You're like, of course, you have goals and ideas and things that you want to do. But,
Yeah, comfort is also a killer. It can just kind of, if you're content.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, if you're afraid to get out of your comfort zone and live the life that you are dreaming of,
That's true.
That can also be
I've spent a lot of time
miserable.
In my comfort zone, like, and that's when I look at my life now and I'm like, you work in a middle school, way out of your comfort zone.
Right.
You're trying.
Supposed to do stuff
you have
like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you're trying to launch a podcast, like, way out of your comfort zone. I hate the sound of my voice. I don't like.
It's scary. What if it's not good? What if people don't listen?
Yeah.
This and that. But who cares ultimately?
Yeah.
It's like you're doing it for you, and that's all that matters.
That's kind of what I realized too.
With that, success will come.
It's funny to me because the more episodes I do, the more I'm like, well, these are just for me to talk to my friends.
Yeah.
If you like it, you like it. Fuck off. Otherwise, like. But even then, I've also noticed that since it went live, that now every time before I record one, there's anxiety because I'm like, oh. Some people, no matter how small, are paying attention. Mm-hmm. Like, before, I just recorded it because I had some in the bank before I went live, and now that I'm live and doing them, I'm like, uh-oh.
This is real.
This is a real thing. Like, did you feel that when you went with Killer Pencil, or you just been?
Yeah, because some of them are. I'm like, ooh, this one's like one of the first ones I did. They're not good.
Yeah.
The drawings are a little,
Have you touched up any of the old stuff?
No.
Do you futz with it? You just
Nope.
like, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm just, and I'm peppering in some of the newer ones. I'm trying to get some of the older ones out of the way, the oldies but the goodies.
Yeah.
And then I'll put it like one of the newer ones in just to test it out, see if it gets more views or what is capturing people, because I'm not sure. I don't really know what I'm doing.
Right. Well, I feel the exact same way. Like Spotify
But that's the fun part.
They email me and they're like, "You got 10 listens." And I'm like, "Cool.
All right."
am I winning?
Yeah.
Have you noticed anything? Because even when I look at the posts and it's like, all right, this video got 50 views. This video got 250 views.
Yeah.
And
I'm posting them on Sunday morning.
So yeah,
every
same time.
Single one of them, same time.
Have you
there's no rhyme or reason
right.
to it. It's just, I don't fucking know.
Okay, because I was like, is there anything in like the background there which tells you stuff?
Yeah, I don't know if it's more catching to the eye. The little thumbnail I have control over the thumbnail.
Yeah.
And the way that the layout looks, but there are some platforms when you hit the shorts part, it'll just take a frame from the whole strip itself. I don't do that. So I don't know what people are seeing as they're scrolling. It could be different for everybody. So I don't know what's getting their attention. I'm not sure.
Yeah, do you have a specific Killer Pencil YouTube channel, or is it just under your personal one?
No, it's Killer Pencil.
Okay, because I have a personal one.
Yeah.
And then the Empirical Peapod one, so that I can kind of, as a fan, still look at it.
Right.
And so that's how I built that banner and stuff on mine, because it's not just as simple as it seems. Mm-hmm. So I kept having to go back as just a fan and be like, oh, well, still looks like shit.
Right.
I got to move it.
Yeah.
And kind of dial it in like that. That's just
Smart.
Crazy to me. What I want to talk about now is, because I'm curious and I'm excited, what's next? I always just love people's answers as far as like, some people, whatever life brings me, I'm open to opportunity, or they have it, rigidly planned out. I know Miss Annie is looking for a food truck.
Right. Yeah.
I'll
for
Miss
always.
Katie Tiffin.
Yeah. Right now I'm just hustling. I'm doing this, and I'll just keep doing it, and and hopefully, success looks different for everybody. So
sure. Yeah.
I like it. The way that I see everything going down is, I like it. I'm having fun doing it. So that to me is success, and hopefully,
well, you're really in an amazing
spot. Because monetized, then that's all great, all the better.
Sure.
But I would like to be represented by an agency for illustration. It'd be cool to get
represented by an agency.
Yeah, that's my next.
That sounds awesome.
I'm putting my feelers out there and sending my portfolio out and whatnot, because sending it to a straight publisher is rejection after rejection.
Yeah.
But if I can get if I have representation, possibly,
like an agent type
thing.
Yeah, that makes sense. We had talked too before, and in one of our 1,000 different recordings that we did that are now gone, about taking Killer Pencil and kind of making a coffee table book out of it.
Yeah, that's in
because they're just 4-panel comics, and I think it would be so cool.
I could do the evolution of it also.
That'd be cool, like
the
all
ones
the
at the
old
beginning.
ones, yeah, and like that would be really cool.
Yeah, or maybe backwards.
Yeah, or even like talk about, like have little pages in there too, like with inspirations or things of that such and how they come together. I just think it'd be a really cool conversation, like a true coffee table book where it's like, oh, what is this? Like,
well, you're the idea guy. Keep them coming. So
this is murdery little pencil guy. Yeah, because I also would love to one day see a live action one. I just think it'd be so funny.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Because you can do the makeup.
Learning. Oh, one of those.
Like literally.
Oh, God.
Yeah, like have the pencil and like.
Well, that's the fun part, is figuring out how am I going to do that.
Right.
Like, how can you pull that off?
You and Heather are real
start
people.
Brainstorming. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe he kills you both in that.
We are real people. We could just put our hair up and the buns that are. But pencil.
You're wearing a bun right now.
Yeah.
You're ready to be murdered.
But we are on a lake in the woods.
True. Yeah, I'm not going to say anything. We're on a podcast.
Can you take boats out on this? Like,
you used to could. Oh, you still can. There's on that side of the lake, you can back up and drop.
Because it's obviously not.
It's just
super
a little.
big.
They used to have. This used to be an actual store. Mm-hmm. And they had like little tiny little boats here, paddle boats.
Cute.
You can take just a John boat. Like, you're not going to bring anything fancy out here. But,
Yeah.
The thing is, though, like, I love this place. I've been coming here since I was little. That's why I like it here. The fishing is horrible.
Okay.
The fish are so overfed and picky and finicky. But there's frogs, there's snakes, there's turtles. There's
Sweet.
so much here. I saw a koi fish last summer, like in a side pond. It's beautiful here, and there's hiking and everything. So while I'll come here to fish, I'm not successful at that. I just like being here.
I want to hike. Like, I want to go into the wilderness, because we used to take every year we would do field trips in elementary school, and I fell face first into Dancing Sands Pond. It was covered in mud.
Really?
From head to toe, yeah, and it dried and cracked, and I had to get back on the bus like that. It was great, and I was new at school. It was awesome, and I had broken my arm like one of the first weeks of that. It was.
You were new at school?
I was new.
Is that where you came here, like to Oswego for the first time?
No, I just was going to Boulder Hill, and then I went to Eastview.
Okay, I consider that still. Oh, you
But
did
I
go
was
to
new at
Eastview.
Eastview. I didn't know anybody. Yeah.
When did you meet Heather?
5th grade, when she moved from Downers Grove to Oswego.
Yeah. Oh, was she in 5th grade?
Yeah.
Aren't Dave that close?
Uh-huh.
Because I met Dave in 6th grade.
So he would have been 11. She was 10.
Yeah. That's crazy. Because I used to go to their house and it wasn't even finished yet.
Yeah.
And we would shoot BB guns and stuff. Because I remember meeting Heather when she was 10. And she owned a double barrel shotgun already. And I'm like, you Janowskis are different.
Guys.
Yeah. Even that, like, because like my best friend's Jason, and obviously you and Heather are like a package. Like Jason and I are a package. Do you ever sometimes feel like an outsider in the group?
Not anymore.
Not anymore?
No, because I'm developed that was one of my goals moving back, was having my own relationships with everybody, like being comfortable enough to like go hang out with someone. But back in the day when we were younger,
because I always felt like they invited Jason.
Right, but like going to Andy's house and stuff in high school,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have done that by myself without Heather.
Yeah.
Because she was already friends with everybody.
Right, but now you feel like you've come into your own.
Yeah.
Like, these people do like me.
We're adults now. I have to call Heather up. Hey, I gotta go meet Tim. Will you come with me?
I can't get her to hang out with me.
Well, yeah, she's
elusive.
Uh-huh.
She's becoming like a Justin Schmedeke.
She's very busy.
That's true.
She likes her
wildly successful also. And
yeah.
She likes her
free
life.
time is she does what she wants with it.
Yeah. But that's where you go in right there to hike, and it wraps around pretty good. I think that you can even hunt over here.
I've shot guns with Shike and Krishati.
Oh yeah, then you know.
Over there before.
Yeah. What else do you want to talk about?
I don't know. The future is
bright. Put your shades on.
It's so bright. No, it's hate. I don't. It's the opposite of bright. I can't see through it. Can't see. So I don't know.
The future is darkness.
No. Not in a morbid way.
No.
Just unsure, but that's fine. Because who can predict their shit, you know?
I think it's actually does sound maybe not bright, but exciting. I think it is.
Yeah, it is.
I think it's bright.
I'm looking forward
to
some changes.
I'm excited for you to get to at least explore getting an agent and some representation.
I'm ready for some changes.
You've got a pretty amazing portfolio already.
Well, thank you.
You have a website.
Mm-hmm. Starfiresays.com.
Starfire says.
It's a portfolio.
Where do you come up with the name Starfire?
So my friend from San Diego, I think it started because he knew another Katie that he wasn't so fond of, so he didn't want to call me Katie, and he goes, "You're Starfire." Like, he was into Teen Titans at the time.
I like that you weren't like, you could call me my real name, which is not Katie.
No, I thought it was cool. I was like, "Ooh, all right, I like that."
Do you? So it is from Teen Titans, which I know. Do you know about Starfire?
I've looked her. I know she can fly, and she's got powers.
She does have powers. She can actually learn languages by kissing people.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if if they retconned that or not, but yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, she's pretty awesome.
Is this a Marvel thing?
That's a DC thing.
DC. Okay.
You're safe.
That's why I like it.
Yeah, I know you just like.
I don't hate Marvel. It's fine.
Yeah. You know what I am curious about? Entering the realm of becoming a D&D player. Because, me, Walsh, my sister, and Mike, and Yunker, and even T, we're all nerds. And everybody knows that.
Uh-huh.
But what was it like to kind of come into that world as basically an outsider?
Yeah.
Because you also D&D with your brother.
Yeah, that started after.
Because you've opened up and you've played other board games with us.
Yeah.
You're full on nerd now.
Yeah. Yep, I'm a nerd now.
What was that like kind of coming into that world? Did it feel tough?
Yeah, because I didn't fully understand. Just like anything, it takes a few rounds to understand.
There's so much information too.
Yeah, there's a lot coming at you, and I didn't realize that I was just kind of watching for a while. I didn't realize that I could come in with my action and be like, oh, well, in this scenario, I want to pull out my fiddle and
fiddle
serenade this creature.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, roll what is that, charisma check or something? All of it.
Depends on your class.
I didn't realize. I did not know that I could.
It's literally whatever you can think of.
Right.
It's depending on what the DM allows you to do.
Uh-huh.
But because there was one session you weren't there, but you had something planned with Walsh, and it ended up blowing us all up.
Yeah, because I had wild magic or something,
Yeah.
and I voice recorded it. He listened to it, but he deleted it, so you guys couldn't hear it.
Yeah. Well, he Walshed it.
He Walshed it.
Walsh is a verb.
Yeah.
That was annoying actually, because I don't like being lit on fire.
Whoops. Kaliba.
Yeah.
Yeah, she likes fire. I like fire element.
Yeah. What is your character race? Do you remember?
Kaliba is a sorcerer.
Yeah, that is charisma based. That's her class.
Okay. There's class and there's race. Okay, so sorcerer. What are some of the races?
Human.
She's not human.
Elf.
Yeah, I think she's a sorcerer elf.
Yeah.
That sounds right. And that's the other thing. I'm not gonna. I mean, I might be a nerd, but I'm not. I don't think about it outside of D&D. I don't go home and think about it.
I love making characters. I'm nowhere near as smart as the Walshes. The brothers Walsh are insane.
Yeah, well, Dan will hit me up every now and then in a text and say, "Hey, have you thought about this and that?" I'm like, "No, I don't." And I'm not going to until I show up.
That is for D&D time?
Yeah, this is my time. And I know some people, sorry, I'm not, I poked my eye, so I have to look at it. I'm not looking at my phone.
Is it okay?
It's okay, yeah.
That's good.
But yeah, outside of it, don't think about it.
Yeah, I do. Actually, it's funny because when I'm playing it, I'm like, I don't like this. Because sometimes they do drag on.
Yeah.
Or sometimes you play with people that are frustrating.
Yeah. Yep.
But that's
just
life.
Stop. I'm not gonna delve in.
Well, I play a Saturday game that Little Walsh DMs, and sometimes people want to do stuff that's wild, and I'm like, why would you?
Yeah.
Why would you do that? But whatever. I think I might be a control freak.
That could be.
And not fun to play with.
Yeah.
And I'm just an overall bad person.
No, it's just sometimes, it's not that, not with you, but some people take a long time, they think about it too much. I'm like, it's really not a big deal. Just come up with something.
Yeah, just shoot, slash something or shoot them. We don't have to do all of this.
But playing with my brother and the other Dan, the other dungeon master Dan, his buddy's name is Dan too, but it's just them going back and forth, looking up things. Oh, no, you can't do it. There's no bonus action with that. You can't do that. And then they're looking in the book, and it's 10 minutes later, it's like, Jesus.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Yeah.
When you're just sitting there.
But they're hilarious at the same time, so it's entertaining.
As I always feel bad when we sit at Walsh's, because I'm like, I just want to sit there and talk to Younger.
Yeah. It's a lot of chat. You can tell Dan gets a little puffy.
Let's focus up, guys.
Hey.
It is hard to concentrate. I just like it out here. It's just, man.
I know, it's so nice.
It is really nice. We should come back here and hike.
Yeah.
Jason and I will come out here and walk around the lake sometimes. And by that I mean we did it once.
Once.
Yeah, I mean, one is all you need, right?
Yeah. Okay, we saw everything.
Yeah, it's nice. We get it. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be weather-wise. I'm sure it'll get worse.
Yeah, it's really not that bad. It's breezy
I
and
thought that was
cool.
a cat.
It looks like a fox. I thought it was a fox.
Lady's walking a dog, and I thought it was a cat. It does look like a fox. All right. Well, we're just stalling. Let's wrap it up.
This has been very pleasant.
You know what? I like this.
Yeah.
Because this has the potential to be deleted and we try again. I don't want to.
No, I don't feel that need.
Because the first one, I didn't know how to use the equipment. So we talked for an hour and it was awesome. Of course it was awesome because it wasn't recorded.
Right.
So it had to be awesome.
Right. Nobody gets to hear it.
Yeah. And then we didn't really like the second one. And now this one, I think it's the setting.
It is. I like being outdoors.
Yeah. The first one was outdoors also. And
yeah, we were by the river.
Yeah. But all right, well, fuck, let's call it a day. I appreciate you so much for finding the time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Love you, friend.
Love you.
I'll talk to you soon.
Okay.